Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Audrey Hepburn, a Hollywood legend, dancer, and model, was also a woman of courage and integrity, a fearless voice for the children in need around the world. Audrey Hepburn, a Hollywood icon of love and hope, part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Greetings, heartwarming viewers. I am David from colourful City London. With joy and friendship, the faithful people of the United Kingdom send you our sincere regards. Welcome to part 1 of a 2-part series entitled Audrey Hepburn, a Hollywood icon of love and hope. The much-loved Audrey Hepburn was a Hollywood legend, dancer, a muse for fashion designers, and an icon for style. Glamorous and talented, she was a woman of courage and integrity, a voice for the children in need around the world, and a loving champion of peace and hope. Our story begins in Brussels, Belgium. On May 4th, 1929, Audrey Hepburn was born to Joseph Victor Anthony Hepburn Royston, a British banker, and the Baroness Ella van Heemstra, a Dutch aristocrat. Growing up, Audrey was very close to her brothers. Because of her father's work, the family was constantly on the move during the first years of Audrey's life. They lived between London in the UK, Brussels in Belgium, and Arnhem and The Hague in the Netherlands. The travels caused tension in the household, and Audrey became withdrawn. Her mother was strict and always encouraged Audrey and her siblings to read and learn. Discipline, ethics, and reading developed into a lifeline for Audrey. Her grandfather, the Honourable Baron Arno van Heemstra, lived at the Jependal Castle, and Audrey often visited him. Remembering those days, Audrey Hepburn would later say, "I had a passion for the outdoors, for trees, for birds and flowers." When Audrey was 5 years old, she was sent to a boarding school in England, a move she later recognised as being a good lesson in independence. She started ballet classes and fell in love with dancing, the art form that would captivate her for life. When Audrey was 6 years old, her parents separated, but her routines kept her secure, and despite the problems, she made the school's honour roll and overcame her introversion. She was fluent in French and English, and also spoke some Dutch. Audrey started school in Holland, and Ella engaged in work for the local arts council. In times of conflict, art was the language that could overcome barriers and form a bridge between nations and cultures. In May 1940, the Sadler's Wells Ballet Company from England embarked in a goodwill tour to Holland and performed in Arnhem. Inspired, Audrey returned to her ballet classes. But due to the troubled times, supplies were diminishing and rationing was the norm. In the winter, only one room per home was allowed to be heated. Like everybody else, Ella and the children had to endure. Their family properties and assets were confiscated. Ella started to work in whatever job she could find. Through her example, Audrey learned to adapt to the circumstances, be humble, and calmly take opportunities as they came her way. Month after month, the family hid in a cellar, starving but enduring, hoping for the day of their liberation. When it arrived, Audrey's family and millions of civilians in Europe received food and other supplies from the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration, a forerunner of UNICEF, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Audrey Hepburn's commitment to that organisation began from that moment on. Audrey was 16 years old, 5 feet 6 inches or 168 centimetres tall, and weighed a mere 90 pounds or 41 kilograms. Her metabolism was to be permanently affected, and she would never weigh more than 110 pounds or 50 kilograms. In the summer of 1945, Audrey volunteered to work in the Royal Military Invalids Home. There, she met Terence Young, an aspiring British film director. Terence encouraged her to continue with ballet lessons and later to go to London. Ella and Audrey relocated to Amsterdam, Netherlands. Audrey restarted ballet classes with the famous Sonia Gaskell. From her, Audrey learned to not complain nor give in, even if she was tired. Sonia believed, if you really work hard, you'll succeed, and remember, everything has to come from the inside. With these encouraging words, we'll take a few moments for a brief message before we return, here on Supreme Monster Television. Welcome back to Audrey Hepburn, a Hollywood icon of love and hope, part 1 of 2. In 1948, two Dutch freelance filmmakers were working on a project for Britain's ranked film company. They came to Sonia Gaskell's studio, and Audrey played a small part as a stewardess. The film they were making, Dutch in 7 Lessons, came to be the modest beginning of her great screen career. Audrey and Ella moved to London at the end of that year. Audrey started ballet lessons with the well-known Dame Marie Rambert, who gave Audrey a scholarship and took her and her mother into her home. While working on her ballet technique, Audrey also did some modelling and realised that, at just 20 years old, she was becoming what was considered too old for ballet. She then moved into musical theatre, starting with a 1947 production, High Button Shoes. Focusing on her acting skills, Audrey took elocution lessons with Sir Felix Almer, who had helped accomplish actresses and actors like the Oscar winners Vivian Leigh and Charles Laughton. He introduced Audrey to techniques like responsive stillness, enabling her to lure an audience into watching her even when she was doing nothing in a scene. Through musical theatre, Audrey received a lot of positive exposure. Film and cast directors became interested in the beautiful and talented girl. Audrey met the Italian director Mario Zampi, who was preparing the movie Laughter in Paradise. Her brief appearance in this film helped launch her career. Audrey's first major supporting role came from director Thurrow Dickinson in the movie Secret People, where she played a young ballet student. The movie was a success for Audrey, who was now to appear as Gigi, the famous character from Colette's novel in New York. Her performance received many positive reviews. Most agreed that while Audrey Hepburn was an inexperienced actress, she was nevertheless irresistible. Her biographer, Barry Paris, wrote,
"Something was happening on a grander scale, and the look of that girl was making it happen. It had to do with the changing standards of beauty and with film and fashion overall, but perhaps most with the era itself."
Audrey recalled,
"I remember the 50s as a time of renewal and of regained security. There was a rebirth of opportunity, vitality and enthusiasm, a return to laughter and gaiety. The world was functioning again. Above all, there was a wonderful quality of hope, born from relief and gratitude for those greatest of all luxuries, freedom and peace."
Audrey Hepburn was then brought onto a film production by Oscar-winning director William Wyler. William Wyler was preparing Roman Holiday, a story about a princess. Finally, Audrey would play a leading role in a movie, and her co-star was none other than the much-celebrated Gregory Peck. The movie opened in August 1953, and Audrey Hepburn became the first actress to win an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA award for a single performance.
Audrey Hepburn now welcomes you to Rome as the captive princess who goes out on the town to have some fun, with Greg as the bewildered bachelor who winds up with a royal blush.
Tell you what, why don't we do all those things together?
But don't you have to work?
Work? Now, today's going to be a holiday.
And what a holiday! A Roman holiday, when all the things happen you'd always hoped for on the happiest day of your life.
Hello.
Fun on the run, as the princess gives Greg a regal and highly illegal scoot-around. And you'll be there to share the excitement of the wildest escapade that ever set the Eternal City on its ear.
After Roman holiday, Audrey was introduced to fashion designer Count Hubert de Givenchy, who would design her wardrobe for the film Sabrina. Audrey exuded glamour and elegance. She became his muse, and their friendship became legendary. Despite her fame and success, Audrey did not forget the strife that her family had endured. Starting in 1950, Audrey Hepburn made 2 radio programs for UNICEF. She narrated children's stories in times of conflict, and in 1989, she was appointed a Goodwill Ambassador of UNICEF. In 1954, Audrey's performance in Ondine earned her the Tony Award for Best Lead Actress in a Play. This was to be followed by a number of successful films such as Sabrina, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Charade, My Fair Lady and Wait Until Dark. The following is an excerpt of an interview with Premiere Magazine recorded in 1959 to promote the movie The Nun's Story, which was filmed in Belgium and the Congo.
U bent nu een filmcarrière begonnen enkele jaren terug en daarvoor hebt u toneel gespeeld, hebt u een toneelklas gevolgd of wat?
Ik heb gedanst. Ik ben mijn carrière begonnen als balletleerlinge. Toen langzamerhand, van het ene kwam het andere en heb ik hele kleine rolletjes gespeeld in een enkele film in Londen. En toen heb ik de opportuniteit gehad om Gigi te spelen in New York in een theater.
Ja.
En diezelfde jaar heb ik een test gemaakt voor Roman Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Dus
wanneer die film Roman Holiday...
1952, een groot jaar voor mij.
Maar u hebt in Londen gewerkt, u hebt in New York gewerkt en bent u naar Hollywood gegaan. Hoe is dat meegevallen? Was dat heel different? Was dat zoals men dat leest in publicaties, in dagbladen? Of hoe is dat eigenlijk, om dat in een paar woorden te zeggen?
Ik moet zeggen dat ik erg veel ervan hou om daar te werken. Ik heb heel veel vrienden. Zoals u weet, de filmindustrie is al heel lang in Hollywood. En dus is er een heel hoog peil van een heel hoog professioneel peil.
Ja, dat gaat zeker.
En een hele ernstige geest. Ja. En men leest zo zelden van die hele vroege ochtenden dat mensen opstaan en al heel vroeg in de studio zijn en honderden en allemaal klaarstaan heel vroeg om te werken en de hele dag lang heel serieus aan het werk zijn. Mm-hmm. En er heerst een hele ernstige atmosfeer omdat men zijn werk heel ernstig opvat.
Parijs heeft in uw films een heel voorname rol gespeeld. Er zijn heel wat films van u.
Ja, dat is heel eigenaardig helemaal in mijn carrière. Want ook in het theater, want Gigi, zoals u weet, is van het Franse verhaal afkomstig van Paulette.
Ja.
En mijn tweede stuk die ik in New York met mijn man, Mel Ferrer, heb gespeeld, was Ondine van Jean Giraudoux.
Ja.
En met Sabrina, in het verhaal van Sabrina kom ik uit Parijs. met funny face ga ik nat huilen. Ja. En dat is vaak zoiets geweest. Ja, dus het heeft me heel veel geluk gebracht.
Ja. Houdt u van muzikale films?
Ja, heel veel.
Ja?
Want het is heerlijk om te werken met muziek alsmaar om je heen. Mm-hmm. Wat men eigenlijk doet.
Ja. En de rol zelf in de film, hoe is u dat meegevallen?
Het is een moeilijke rol.
Ja, dat kan me wel voorstellen.
Moeilijk en ik heb heel hard gewerkt, zoals iedereen. We hebben ons best gedaan. En ik hoop dat het zo ook zal aflopen waar het publiek aan gaat. En daar weer het was een ernstig onderwerp. En ik hoop dat we het eer aan gedaan hebben. Maar...
We'll pause for a few moments for a brief message and return soon here on Supreme Master Television.
I have learned how to live, how to be in the world and of the world. And I will never, never again run away from life. Or from love either.
I can personally do very little, but I can contribute to a whole chain of events, which is UNICEF, for the good of children. And that's a marvelous feeling. It's like a bonus to me. What could be nicer?
Welcome back to Audrey Hepburn, a Hollywood icon of love and hope, part 2 of 2. Amidst her immense fame and success, Audrey Hepburn always had a special place in her heart for UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, from which she had received food and medical relief during her own youth. In 1988, she was appointed UNICEF Special Ambassador, and she became a Goodwill Ambassador the following year. Her first field mission was to Ethiopia, an experience she would never forget. There, she visited an orphanage in Mekelle that housed 500 undernourished children.
Well, I was so eager to go. I've been, so privileged to be given this opportunity to do something for children. And it actually was a great relief for me because I've sat in front of television so often and been frustrated or seen photographs or read articles about Ethiopia. And I've been so pent up with that feeling, which most of us have, is you can't do anything. And the idea that now I can, however little, is a great relief, and I went very eagerly. It was an extraordinary trip and filled with very mixed emotions. Many of them, of course, were heartbreaking. But I've come back very encouraged, and I'm very optimistic because basically it's a country that needs very little to be able to help itself because they're very hardworking, very eager to be independent, and then all they ask for really is help to help themselves. I think it is in the human spirit to argue, to quarrel, but it's also in the human spirit to remember a giving hand. I've known UNICEF all my life, and I've admired and trusted them all this time, and it's a marvelous happening for me that they're allowing me to do this.
Audrey Hepburn continued to dedicate herself to UNICEF's cause, from making numerous field trips around the world to assist the most vulnerable, to testifying before the US Congress and taking part in the World Summit for Children, from launching UNICEF's State of the World Children reports, to partaking in various fundraising events and more.
This is Audrey Hepburn in Bangladesh, where I have been seeing at first hand some of the things your support has been making possible. only wish everyone involved with UNICEF's national committees could have the chance to meet these children and see the difference UNICEF is helping to make in their lives. It's on their behalf that I thank all of you.
In February 1989, Audrey toured Central America and met with leaders in Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. 2 months later, she visited Sudan as part of a mission called Operation Lifeline. Everywhere she went, she became involved, helping and hugging children and adults alike without hesitation. She said,
I saw but one glaring truth. These are not natural disasters, but man-made tragedies for which there is only one man-made solution: peace.
In 1990, Audrey Hepburn went to Olac, also known as Vietnam, to assist the underprivileged there. She also hoped to raise international awareness and understanding of Olacsese, or Vietnamese people.
Tell them about their courage and their ethics, that children really do come first in this country, perhaps more than any country I've ever seen.
Audrey went to Somalia in 1992. She stated,
I think perhaps with time, instead of there being a politicisation of humanist aid, there will be a humanisation of politics.
Audrey Hepburn received the United States' highest civilian award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in December 1992. During that year, she had continued her work for UNICEF despite being ill, travelling to Somalia, Kenya, the United Kingdom, Switzerland, France, and the United States. In January 1993, Audrey Hepburn passed away in her sleep at her home in Switzerland, leaving an extraordinary legacy both in the arts as well as in compassion. Audrey Hepburn became one of only 12 people who have won Academy, Emmy, Grammy and Tony Awards. She won a record 3 BAFTA Awards for Best British Actress in a Leading Role. She received a tribute from the Film Society of Lincoln Center in 1991 and received a BAFTA Lifetime Achievement Award in 1992. The American Film Institute also named Audrey 3rd among the top female stars through 100 years. In 1993, she was posthumously given the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award.
And if this career has left me with something very special, it's left me with this voice, which I can use for the good of children, what could be nicer?
Charming, immensely kind, and remarkably gifted, Audrey Hepburn was a true role model who continues to inspire with her brilliant acting and generous heart. For more information on Audrey Hepburn, please visit unicef.pub30.convio.net. Lovely viewers, it's been a pleasure to have you with us today. Coming up next is Korean Specialities from Loving Hut Songchong, part 2 of 2 veggie bibimbap with soy bulgogi, right after noteworthy news, here on Supreme Master Television. May you and your loved ones shine in the brilliant light of God.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/MOS.